I will get started. We are going to try to, in the next hour and a half, give you some things to go home with. And what this presentation is really our sharing of how we brought spirituality into recovery programs. And first we talk a little bit about our story, which is why we did it, how we did it, and how it's grown. And then we actually go through some of the tools that we use in actual programs, how we introduce it to the people who we serve. And then above and beyond that, some other tools that we'll share with you. And then we'll go through some practical, different things people don't always think about as being inclusive with regards to spirituality in a program. So I'm going to get started with why we do this, why as an organization we feel spirituality is key to a person's recovery. We're mentioned we don't have a PowerPoint. This is a low-tech presentation. You will really see that because it's a low-tech presentation with the values that we hold near and dear. We are going to share with you different things. We'll pass around things. You're going to get to touch, feel, do things that don't require a PowerPoint. Okay, that don't require a PowerPoint and that don't require for you to take notes. The things that we'll share will be some handouts. So I'll do that as we get to that part. Assessment and then also some practical applications. So this morning, the keynote speaker made a statement, and it was, to heal a person, you must first be a person. So for our organization, it really starts, what we do starts with our story, starts with the story. And so I'm going to tell you a little bit about, in 1980, actually came to this organization and came with a quest. At that point, I was finishing my graduate work to be an art therapist and had for years there, doing through college and school, worked with people with significant mental health issues and unequivocally felt that that was my calling. And I came into an organization that had absolutely no faith-based relationship or spiritual presence or understanding. And I came in with a sense of, what can we do to change to make this be more effective and more meaningful, without a great understanding of even my own story. But I knew that mental health services, as they were in 1980, and in many ways as they are in 2009, sad to say, forget what millennium I'm in, have so far to go. We have so far to go. And so I really try to, as a fledgling art therapist, bring creative arts to everything I did. So sometimes it would be a therapy group. We could do an assessments with a psychiatrist oversight, and it would be a creative process. And what I realized is that the act of creation is at the very core of a spiritual being. And creative arts opens the door for many people to their spiritual path, particularly when they're in a treatment setting. So for me, I just wanted to grow it. My goal was grow this, build it, make more of it, teach people. If you're a social worker, my goal at that moment in time was to teach people how to bring creative arts into it, how to bring something that would touch people in a different place than we do when we are doing a traditional assessment or when we're even working with people on their goals. And to go a step further, I had a great passion for this. So it was one of those things that I couldn't let go of. And what I came to realize is that it was really my own healing. I think all of us, but I can certainly say for me personally, absolutely could relate to the second keynote speaker's comment about a hole in the soul. And when I speak, and usually I don't have to speak in front of a microphone, but I talk about the hole being right here in my gut. That feeling of emptiness, that feeling of, which certainly Rabbi talked about this morning, that feeling that you try to fill anything else you can with, whether it's schooling, get whatever degrees you can, whether it's shopping, whether it's drugs or alcohol, socializing, and I guess now I'll include fun. I had never thought of that before this morning. But you try to fill the hole. And what the hole really is it is that hole in your soul. And it is that spiritual connection and spiritual path that you must continue to pursue. And so for me, doing what I did was really healing myself, and continuing to kind of stay in check with that continues to do it. So in our organization, which is a large behavioral health organization, we brought in spirituality without ever even knowing what we were doing. So we brought it in, a fledgling art therapist who said we need to get more creative activities going. If you like to cook, that's a creative activity. If you like to dance and move and you're a social worker, or you're a intern psychologist, then you use that in what you do. And we started to teach people to do that, and we started to expand that in all of our programs. And nobody, as you might guess, put anything together about church and state. And nobody said, well, you're an organization that's fully funded with public funds, and you're doing spirituality stuff, because we were doing creative arts. We were touching the spirit through a medium that people didn't look at as being something that was foreign, alien, or unorthodox. And clearly, in the 1980s, in the 1990s, and I'll say in this decade, bringing spirituality into many recovery programs is still considered unorthodox. And there are certain places, even our wonderful state, where spirituality is absolutely shunned in mental health programs. And so one of the things that we try to do as we do workshops is to help give you ways to maybe slip it into your organization without any CEOs or directors or anyone noticing you're doing it, and to do it in a way that you can start to shift the paradigm in your organization, and to bring spirituality in a way that doesn't slam doors in your face and doesn't rock the boat too much. We are blessed, you are blessed in Los Angeles to have a mental health director who embraces spirituality. It is not the case across the entire state, and I can promise you it's not the case across the entire United States. So we really are here to kind of share those types of concepts and what we do and how we try to do it. So one of the things that, as sort of the quest for developing programs that included, in the beginning, creative arts, and then I'd say by the late 1990s, clearly we understood that we needed to use the word spirituality, and we needed to make it very clear to both the people we serve and the people who are providing services and the people who are paying for services, that we have this belief that the healing takes place in the spirit. And so we did it in a way that, as all good things do, it comes from the people you serve. So we created a recovery task force. In our organization, size-wise, I think we have today maybe 28 or 29 programs, and we serve probably maybe 2,000 to 2,500 people a year. So we actually tried to get people we serve directly involved in this recovery task force. And recovery was a great word to use, as we all know, because it does talk to a different message than clinical setting or treatment. And it is trying to bring the message that we are all in a healing process and make it as inclusive as possible. So we did this, and we actually spent probably the first 2 years identifying what it means to recover from a significant mental health issue, what it means, what you need in recovery, and what we as service providers are compelled to provide as we and work with the people who we serve. And after long process, many, many, many wonderful meetings, many, many sessions, the people we serve and all levels of folks, including some of our payor sources, which would be county mental health, divisions of county mental health, we came up with 4 core pillars. And they certainly reflect the literature that hope is absolutely one of the primary ones. And providing hope to people can be done in so many different ways. And the second one was empowerment and self-advocacy, and giving you a voice. I think that's how we really looked at empowerment. Many of the folks who I have the privilege to serve and work with are people who haven't had a voice for generations. And when you haven't had a voice for generations, you learn, you lose, you forget, you feel so clearly misunderstood, and that your language is completely different. So for us, it was giving people a voice. That's what advocacy meant, teaching people how to self-advocate. The third one was meaningful roles, and that was a huge, clearly from the people we serve, that being important and valued and having that meaningful, just as anyone, all of us have to have, that is key to recovery. And the fourth was spirituality. And in this group of people who we serve, they're from all over the state. And again, in an organization who are private and who are absolutely not faith-based, we really felt spirituality was in the absolute top 4, if not the very top. And when we worked with the people we serve, what we came to realize is that spirituality is at the core of all the other 3. Hope comes with spirituality. A sense of your voice comes from within. Their voice doesn't come from your head, it comes from your gut. And so that comes with spirituality. And meaningful roles, absolutely. What makes life meaningful if not the connection with other people? So we actually did a definition for spirituality that came out of this group. And this was probably 5 years ago, and we've actually every year continued to look at it and keep it, and it hasn't, I don't think we've changed it, maybe but a word or two. But spirituality is the connection to greater power, to others and self. It is a way to find meaning, hope, comfort, and inner peace in life. Many people find spirituality through religion. Some find it through music, art, or a connection with nature. Others find it in their values and principles. So it was absolutely a very inclusive definition, and it spoke to the people who we serve and the people who are in our organization. So with that, we put it out there as loud as we, it's, on our website, in our literature, and interestingly, it's been mostly welcomed by even the big public organizations who would say you can't have these two mixed together. But it's clearly because it came from the people we serve, and that's how we, I would say, couch it. That's how we spin it, and we actually keep maintaining that in the most authentic way that we can. So that's sort of why we're here, how we did it, and sort of in some ways the beginning of how to, from my perspective, is that if you're here, you're either providing spirituality in programs, you're receiving some spiritual support through programs, or you want to try to do it. And there's loads of barriers, and I think there's so many hours and conversations you could have on the barriers. And my real important gift to you is helping you to find ways to get it in. Ways to walk around those barriers. There has to be people to fight the fights, but you might be the ones who can say, let's try to get it going. So what we do first in our programs, we do this part of our training, and we do it with people who we serve, is we talk about spirituality right out there on the table. So if you're coming in to work in our organization, we talk about what is spirituality. And we have this conversation in unison with people we serve and people who are working there. And so the first thing I'm going to do, let me write it as I'm doing it, is ask you, what does spirituality mean to you? Oh, and this is participatory. This is a part where I ask a question and you come up with an answer. Yes, sir. Something higher and greater than yourself. Thank you. Something totally awe-inspiring. So it's the ability to be willing to open and receive. I'll say that as soon as. Personal relationship with God. Connection with people over time, through time, historically, over time. Someone back there says, yes. So it's a meaning and purpose that glorifies God or our higher power. Oh, giving life. Living life. Okay, thank you. That glorifies God or the higher power. Living life with purpose, with meaning and purpose. That glorifies our higher power or God as we perceive to be. I'll get you next. Obedient. Obedience to the higher power. I know. The ability to welcome and trust mystery. Or here, am I missing people? Yes. To help yourself and then help others. Connection to the inner and outer energy source and power. Force, energy, force, and power. Okay, I'll give you that. Yes.
The quest to find in oneself the eternal blueprint of the universe and vice versa.
Okay. The quest to find in oneself the eternal blueprint of the universe and vice versa? Yes, sir.
In other words, awareness of one's essence in relation to the universe.
You're going to love the meditation today.
So the awareness of one's essence in relation to the universe. Yes. Are you there? Discovering what sustains you. Anybody else? Yes.
The spiritual realm.
The spiritual realm. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am. Yes. Believing in the unseen. Yes. Getting in touch with your true self. Yes. Feeling one with all creation. Yes.
Experiencing peace and joy that surpasses circumstance.
Ooh. Did you hear that? Experiencing peace and joy that surpass circumstance. Nice. Yes. Ooh. Okay, believing in God's purpose for your life. Anybody else? Oh, yes, sorry, over here. No.
Part of the Trinity that can lead into eternal life.
A part of the Trinity that can lead into eternal life. And back here. Yes, ma'am. So let me see if this. Believing that all of God's creatures are. Okay. So celebrating, say, the diversity and tolerating the diversity of all of God's creatures. So that's also being connected and one with God's creatures. Accepting that we are greater than what we perceive. Anybody? Before we come to, yes? The ability to trust God even when you cannot train Him. Is it train Him? Trace Him. Thank you. Trace Him. Thank you. Okay, I'm thinking. Trust God even you cannot trace Him. Thank you. Okay. Anybody else before we stop this piece of this? Well, thank you. As you can see, lots of definitions of spirituality. And sometimes in training and in working with people who have absolutely no mental health background or no real background formally in spirituality or even experience with a faith community, the answers are sometimes much more brief, but absolutely the same sentiments. And as we do this, and we do this again with the people who we work with, and we do it with and for all the people who are in our organization, because this is a core belief of ours, is that what the intent is to share that spirituality is much like, I think, an eye. That, we know that there's no one eye that's identical to another one. Your two eyes are not identical. And no one in this room has the same eye as I have. And spirituality is the exact same. It is your path. It is your spirituality. It is your definition. It is your experience. And coming from that place enables us to be inclusive, to be compassionate, and to come from that place of an understanding of tolerance and an understanding of acceptance of anyone's path, regardless of the path. And so, and a lot of times one of the things that comes up is spirituality means nothing to me. I don't have a path. And honoring that's absolutely the right place for that person to be in that moment, because that is where they are at. So that's how we bring spirituality into recovery programs, and programs that are residential, that are consumer operated, that are day programs. We have a wide variety of programs, and in all of the programs we bring spirituality into the services. So some of the ways that we do that, in addition to this experience, which is usually the opening, and we really, from this, if I was a counselor working with someone, my next step would be, I'm part of my role here. I may be the vocational person, but part of my role here is to walk with you on your spiritual path. As much or as little as you want me to, as much as you want. And so some of the things, the practical applications and sort of the practical tools that we bring spirituality into our programs, I'm going to talk about. I have a handout. The first one is the assessment. I'll see if we're bouncing the fun topics. We have a spiritual assessment that this same group, oh, here's probably take half of them. I think, hopefully that's enough. I'll take it. So we have a spiritual assessment, and we'll pass it out. But the questions are, I won't go over all of them. And this was designed by this same group. So this is designed with significant amount of input from the persons we serve, but also from the staff who we have. We looked at sort of 4 of the most common, they're out there on the internet, spiritual assessments, probably 5 years ago. And we really felt like we wanted to hit at different places. So we put this together. And it is not, I'll say this, it's not standardized, it's not reliable, it's not tested. We haven't published anything on it. I actually had the great privilege to present this workshop with Priscilla Ridgway, who said, oh, well, tell me, what have you done to test this? And I said, nothing. It's just a tool that we use, and we offer it to anyone to use. It's take what you want and leave the rest. Whatever you want, you're welcome to do. But some of the things that, really talking to people about their sense of belonging, that rather than looking at what it means to be in a mental health program or what's your spiritual path or what are your spiritual needs, it's really talking about how do you feel about yourself? What's your inner strength that you rely on or that you pull from? How much a part of the community do you feel? And what are the goals and dreams for your life? And this is done in a conversation. This is not handed and passed out and someone fills it out. It's done together in a very collaborative way. And in most of our programs, we have peer mentors or consumer providers who actually do this. This is part of the beginning part of in the first couple weeks that you're part of our program, is we go through the spirituality assessment. And we use this assessment to help to create and nurture a sacred space for you to recover in within our own programs. So spirituality assessment is a great tool. I mean, and certainly we're a question? Yes. Okay, they originally came from the Recovery Task Force group, who we began probably in the very 2001-ish, 2002, and it includes persons served, includes our frontline staff, and as time went on, included some of our other stakeholders. And the first spirituality assessment came out of that group. It was tweaked again by, we have a Lynn Gurko. She's a RAP trainer for us, a Copeland Center Wellness Recovery Action Planning trainer, and Dr. Cindy Matarasso, who is in one of our programs. And they kind of created this, the most recent version. So it has changed over time. I don't know exactly what things were changed, but there have been certain parts that have changed. Any other questions on the assessment piece? And again, we really say to, I might be working with someone and I ask a question and I can sense that it's not the right direction for that person. And you may leave it, you may fill it out in a few days later, you may fill out different pieces of it. It's really meant as a tool and a beginning of a conversation about your spiritual path and your spirituality. We used to use, I'm not going to remember, there's an assessment that says 4 questions. And when we originally started out, that is a standardized spiritual assessment, and we had used that originally. And we evolved out from those other 4 that are out there into this one. So that's one of the tools. Another tool that we use in almost all of our programs is we have a meditation room. And we really look at the meditation room as being a sacred space. It is absolutely, unequivocally, like, barred from any clinical activity. And this is a space that if you want to go sit and be at peace, if you want to take a couple people and meditate, early morning contemplation happens in these rooms. The rooms have things, well, similar to what you see there. We tried to create a small altar, but the rooms have things that are meaningful. That has, well, I'll let Janet talk about all the things on that. Janet actually talks more about different practical things that we do. But the space actually is a space, most of them have some type of a wetter feature, little, small. We have pillows and comfortable things to sit on. It's very soothing. It's, and I'll say this, from trying to get stuff eased in, is sometimes these are rooms that were as an old utility room. I mean, this is not, you don't have to change the whole building to create. You find some little space that you can figure out, how to use it and that create that space. And that's where, might not be able to fit a couple chairs in it. You might have a few pillows, but it's some type of a safe space that's designated just for that. Several programs have meditation gardens as well, because certainly being outside in nature is extraordinarily beneficial. So we do that kind of space. We also have, in not all of our programs, but in several programs, a spiritual counselor. And this is, again, one of those things that, this is probably in the past probably 2004, 2005, we probably started this. And, whether it was a case manager position where you could figure out, how to shift caseloads and take one position and designate it for that. One program, it was a vocational position, and the person had great passion for supporting people in their spiritual need. And so we kind of shared it, and then it became the lead piece of the position. But some of the ways that we use this position in our programs is at times when people are in their greatest time of need, and frequently expressing their most self-deprecating words and motions, and as close to suicide as you could be. In a traditional mental health program, and we are pretty darn traditional, you would put someone on what you call suicide watch, or self-harm watch, and you'd be charting every 15 minutes, or direct line of contact. And what we use this position for in many of our programs is that person, the spiritual counselor, sits with the person. They're sitting with them. They're holding a space for that person. There may not be any words spoken, or there may be. There may be tears, there may be hugs, there may be whatever the person needs, but rather than, I'm sure there's a cute 15-minute or some block charting the person does at the end of their time together when they take a break, but they are spending time as the spiritual support person, not as a service coordinator or a counselor, a mental health worker watching you and documenting. And we have seen incredible successful outcomes from that tool. Your question? Yes. Okay, that's it. This is an assessment question. It's a great question. Why doesn't it say, what is your faith practice? We have that in several other assessments. Our primary assessment, where all our programs are accredited, and you absolutely have to address that. So it's addressed so many other places that it was redundant here. And we also didn't want to, this was really meant to be less focused on necessarily your faith community, but we have that information already. It's a good question. Yes. We don't. We actually have no children's services. I'm sorry. I should have said, so maybe I should put that in the write-up. Yeah. Okay, not yet. Listen to you. That's good. Not yet. We don't have any children. We do have transition age youth, and we actually are adapting this for transition age youth, because these questions don't really relate to our take kids either. But any other assessment questions? And again, it's not, we actually, we got some feedback at our last workshop that it wouldn't be a bad idea to actually do some research on it and formalize it. But up until now, we've really said we use it, we focus on it, and we're probably more folks who do practical application of things than necessarily the research to back it up. So spiritual counselor is the second thing that we actually do, and we really hold that position as invaluable. And it again is another big message to both the people we serve as well as our payors to what our values are, to what we really believe. We also have many groups and individual spiritual focused support. And sometimes that looks like an actual, it may be called spirituality support group, rarely, but occasionally. I've seen that. It's usually called other things like women's group. A lot of our work that we do, we work with people who have been, have trauma, as most of us do, and spirituality is certainly a healing process for trauma, as the research shows us. And so a lot of times the groups that deal with trauma and working through trauma have very strong spiritual support focus to it. We also do wellness recovery action planning in all of our programs, and every program has at least one, if not a couple, of Copeland Center trained RAP trainers, because we really believe that that's, and it's evidence-based, but we really believe that that's one of the things that sustains your wellness as you continue to transition out of our programs to more independence and living independently. And RAP definitely has a spiritual focus and component to it. We have a huge amount of art, music, dance, and movement, which probably just comes from our roots. And we certainly see that, as you can tell from our definition, as being a support to your spirituality. We do also really, when we look at our nature walks, as being the same, in the same light, as really helping us to be connected with the greater world, with a stream, with a flower, with the things that are out there that are we're one with, and they're one with us, and so we really do support that. I will let Janet tell you, and I'm almost finished, so she really will share more about that. Okay, I'll let you do that. And then we also do work for others. That's one of the other big things that we've discovered. We have a lot of what we do, the meaningful role piece, is a lot of what we do is we really do supported employment in all of our programs, just about. And we, in addition to supported employment, which is meaningful and you're working for others, is we have a very strong focus on giving back to the community and volunteering. And most of the folks who I have the privilege to work with have been given to and provided for much of their life. And the incredible sense of greater meaning to life when you're working on a bread line. We have programs in Sacramento, it's called Loaves and Fishes, and our folks are some of the key providers of that service, and that is a huge spiritual support. And then lastly, we have, which is really more the traditional way programs bring spirituality in, is we bring in faith communities. Lots of different faith communities come in and provide support services, sometimes counseling, and also we really support people being out in faith communities of their choice, and we do some anti-stigma work with faith communities in creating a welcoming environment for folks with significant mental health issues. So those are some of the ways that we bring in different tools, and I think there's a handout for that as well. Okay, yeah, that one. And they're just kind of different options, things we've gone over already about how we bring spirituality into programs that are, pretty traditional mental health recovery programs. Writing, yes, we do. Yes, we do. Thank you for. Yes, we do. And we actually we have very strong focus on journaling in addition to creative writing, but just journaling, yes, we do. Anything? I will let Janet take over, and Janet is really going to share with you, yes. Our corporate office is Sacramento. We actually serve the furthest south that area we serve is Kern County. We have a couple programs in Kern County, but generally we're like Fresno and Bay Area, Northern California, Shasta County, Humboldt County. Southern California? I don't know. I mean, I don't know. But yes. Thanks. Okay, I'll turn it over to Janet.
Okay, thank you all. I am going to start. I always like to start with rereading the spirituality definition that our recovery task force came up with. This was not easy. As we went through hope, it was easy to come up with what the 4 pillars were. It was easy to get the definition of hope and empowerment and meaningful roles. But when we got to, am I not loud enough? Okay. When we got to spirituality, it was very personal. Spirituality is very personal to each person. So the definition, we worked on it and worked on it and worked on it for quite a long time, and we're very happy with what we came up with. What am I doing? Let me try this. Is that better? Okay, I can do that. Okay. All right. So anyway, I'll sort of recapture. When we came up with our pillars with our recovery task force for recovery, the other 3, the hope, empowerment, meaningful roles, were very easy. When we came to spirituality, it was very difficult. It's a very personal thing to each person. So the definition of what it was, we really worked through it, and we're very, very happy with what we came up with. And I'm going to read it one more time, and it kind of segues into kind of where we're going. But spirituality is the connection to a greater power, others, and self. It is the way to find meaning, hope, comfort, and inner peace in life. Many people find spirituality through religion. Some find it through music, art, or a connection with nature. Others find it in their values and principles. So, because spirituality is so important to every individual person, and Patty has touched beautifully and covered how we bring spirituality, organized spirituality, and faith-based communities into our programs, and has touched also on some of the alternative things. But we really want to touch every person. We want to throw out as much as we can that's in the spiritual nature, so that whatever sticks with you, whatever resonates with you, helps you along your path in recovery. And so to that, we've come up with a bunch of tools, and we are continuing to gather and bring things and see what works and what people really like and what really speaks to them and gravitates to them. All of these are not, we work so that they can work for anyone. They are not faith-based. They are practices. They are, they're not organized religions. They do not, anyone who practices an organized religion can also utilize these tools. They are philosophies, practices, and things of those sort, as opposed to this. They work together if someone does have a very strong faith base. So we have a. Oh, I was going to try to touch the altar question as we went along, but yes. So the one, of course, the flowers. We try to bring flowers into our meditation room, along with the water that's in the meditation room, which was one of the 4 elements. We also bring in the flowers, and then that is a candle in the purple container. So the fire element, we try to bring that in too, so that those speaks to everyone. The other 2 will kind of go along, and I was going to start. The one is a crystal, so we'll start with the crystals. As we all know, our bodies are not solid. The chair you're sitting on is not really solid. Everything is made up of energy. Everything is flowing and moving as molecules and particles, as does our bodies. Crystals have a vibration. They have different vibrations, is the belief. And so we bring crystals in. Our folks love crystals. And what we do is I have these little packages. If we want to, I'm going to share things, please just throw them up here at the end, because we have to relocate someplace quickly. So So those are some crystals. We love crystals. Our staff and our clients just absolutely love them. And what's really fun is to bring in, I brought 3 today, which are 3 of the most common ones that we usually use out there. They can feel it, they can hold it, and it's amazing the time that people and energy people put into seeing what really resonates with them and what they're feeling. What's going around, well, the pink one is a rose quartz, and this stone is for unconditional love and infinite peace. There's much more to it, but I'm just going to kind of give you the shorter, abridged version. The purple one is an amethyst, and that one is an extremely powerful and protective stone with a high spiritual vibration. The amethyst has a very unique quality about it. It is believed to, it can give you energy when you need energy, but it also can help you relax when you need to relax. So that is what some of the really cool qualities about the amethyst. The yellow one going around is a citrine. And the citrine is one stone of abundance, and it teaches you how to manifest and attract wealth, prosperity, success, and all good things in your life. So that one's going around. The yellow one, the citrine, also is one of the only stones that doesn't need to be cleansed and recharged. And that's another thing our folks absolutely love, and they take such good care of their crystals. It's very fun, is that there's a process. It's very simple. You run it under water to clear it and cleanse it, and then you think about what you want, the intention for that stone, and you give the stone an intention. And then every once in a while it has to be charged. And so you set it out in the sunlight or the moonlight or in the windowsill, and it charges its energy back up. So it's just absolutely something that really, really touches a lot of folks and is just really fun. The stack of rocks is a cairn, and those are just really fun. Those 3 stones came from a friend of mine's planter box. So you can find them anywhere, and they don't cost a thing. And it is interesting, they don't all stack. So you have to kind of find ones that do stack. But they're very fun, they're very powerful, and just a little bit about those is that they are a perfect way to mark a spiritual path either within your own environment or your place of employment, and they attract positive energies. So they're just, it's spelled C-A-I-R-N. And before I forget, I did write down over on the other paper by the flags. That is, if you go on to your internet, and where you would enter in, you enter in cbhi.net, you will come up to our Crestwood webpage. If you go down to the bottom of the webpage, there's a little, in kind of faded print, there's a little, says Internet Login. And if you click on that Internet Login, it will take you to a little sign-in sheet. When you do the first line, you just type in visitor@crestwoodbehavioralhealth.com and then spirituality. And most of the information that is presented here today is on the internet. So you can go in there and also take a look at our website and email us if you have any questions or thoughts for us. So that is all there. So much of this is on the internet. One of the things we didn't bring, and we've talked about, are labyrinths. Labyrinths are wonderful, and now they have little palm labyrinths that you can buy, and you trace those. Basically what you do with a labyrinth is you set your intention at the beginning, and then you concentrate on your intention as you go through the labyrinth until the point in when you succeed in your journey on the labyrinth. Sort of helps you to represent your journey in life with what you're working on. Those are very fun and very cool also. So let's go to this one. Another one that is really, really well received are aromatherapy. Patty, and one more. Well, I'll just set this one right here. May I have you? Thank you. Another one is aromatherapy, and scents are very strong and very powerful. They can bring back memories, so you do need to test scents on folks, because to make sure that that scent is not going to bring back any unpleasant memories that you do not want to trigger. But they bring, and most people, very, very fabulous, wonderful things. The two that are going around is the lavender, which has a very calming, relaxing, peaceful feeling, and the other one is the peppermint, which will wake you up. What we usually do is pass the lavender at the beginning and then pass the peppermint before everyone has to drive home. But since you guys aren't driving home, we're just going to circulate them both so you get an opportunity. The other little thing that's going around is actually a little chart from a particular company. I'm not pushing that company. I just happen to have these. So, but that kind of goes through, and it's really interesting. It kind of tells you an ailment, and it kind of gives you the essential oils that they have found to be helpful with that ailment. So it's really, really interesting. The other thing with essential oils is that they do have, and it's been proven that they react with different functions in your body, but the purer the oil is, the better results you will get. So the purer the lavender is, the more relaxation, the more comfort you're going to get from the lavender, the more results you will see. So when you look for essential oils, look for ones that are very high in concentration. Also, we do diffuse them in our meditation rooms, and if you diffuse oils in heat, it destroys a lot of their properties. So you really need to do it with a cooling diffuser. They're beautiful in water if you add them to a fountain or a water feature. They do wonderful in water, but they don't react really well for heat. So that would be a suggestion. Oh, I did also bring my little crystal book too. So I'm just kind of throwing all this stuff out for you guys to kind of play with and look at. So the next one I have here is a couple of books by Louise Hay. And again, I'm not pushing anyone in particular. These are kind of what I've come across and what folks really, really like. Louise Hay has a lot of affirmations. And so the little one is just pretty much strictly affirmations. The larger book is absolutely beautiful. Her work is amazing. Her art is pretty much spiritual in itself. And so I will pass those around too, and you can take a look at those. Oh, absolutely. The one is You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay, and the other one is Heal Your Body, which is basically, thank you, just the affirmations and kind of a shorthand to the larger book. Okay, so then where do we go next in our toy chest? Also, going back to energy being, your body being made up of energy, is that you can direct the energy in your body. And one way to do it is mudras, which are hand positions, which are used, they're called mudras, M-U-D-R-A-S. They're mudras, and they're hand positions. So in certain religions, you will see those are mudras. You'll see these in certain religions. They're mudras, and what they are is working with the energy in the body to sort of direct it and help it to flow smoother would be a really good way to explain it. The what you see in the Namaste, the hand, that is a mudra. This that you see. And that comes from the Indian tradition. It's very related with the yoga. And that is a mudra for the energy. And it touches your heart, so it brings it in. And what the word namaste translated in from Hindu is, I'm drawing a blank. The essence of me recognizes the essence of you. So that's the translation. It's kind of like we are all one. You, I am you. I recognize your essence. You are my essence also. So I'm going to pass this one around. This one is kind of fun too. This is a really nice little book because it's very simple, and you can look at the mudras. It has sort of what they work for and how they direct the mudra. Meditation, a lot of times you'll see people doing the Yana mudra, and that represents the earth and your body connected, and it helps you to focus and concentrate on a meditation. All right, another one which goes to the Native American is animal totems, and those are really fun because if you are out with folks and you see a hummingbird, then we can go back, you can look in the totem book, you can read up what it means to see a hummingbird, and it's fascinating. It really is very, very interesting when you see it. The one I always remember is the dragonfly, and when you see dragonflies, or abundance of dragonflies, and keep seeing dragonflies, the Indian totem belief is that you're entering a period of change, a 2-year period of change. So there's just a lot of really interesting things, and they're all very positive and wonderful, and they're very fun. There also are meditations where you can actually do the meditation, walk folks through the meditation, and you actually get your animal guide, your totem, for that time. And they do change, and they never leave you, is the belief. Once you have a totem, it's yours. You may add on totem, as in the totem poles, and you'll have different totems. So I'll pass that one around too. Another one that's really, really fun and really easy is numerology. And this, again, that I came across is a really simple little book. It has several different exercises for numerology based on your name, based on your birthday, and I think it's pretty much your name and your birthday that this one calls into. I'm take everyone's notes out of here, that people that have used it and left their numbers and addition in here. But it's really fun. It's a great thing to do in a group. As you take everyone's birthday, you count them, calculate it, and it comes up from, I don't remember if birthday's 1 to 8, and then you can separate out into all the ones, can discuss, and then you can read the definition, or we print them off, the definition of what a 1 is, and it's fun to talk about it to see if that actually fits you or not. So it's very fun. And these things, it's amazing when you do this. Some people become so interested in it, and that's all they love it. We go online, then we print off additional information so that they can really enjoy it and be with that spirituality, and it really just gives them something extra special to do every day, and it's fascinating. This one is interesting. Tarot cards have they're different, but these are tarot cards that are Zen tarot cards. So they all have beautiful pictures, and then it goes along with a book. So basically there's a process and there's instructions in the book, and you put the cards out and you pick so many cards, and then they read the definitions in the book, and everything is really, really very, very motivational and a lot of fun. So we'll pass that box around to you. I think I'm done, Patty. I think that's the last of my toys that I physically brought. But it's really, these lead to more things. So, for example, we were doing a meditation group where we brought the crystals in, and it led us into that right now is all that matters. The past is gone. The future is yet to be determined. All that sort of matters is now. And then they can take that, and then it's like, can you talk more about that? We want to talk more about that. And then that leads you more into the oneness of the world, and then sometimes it leads into organized religions, sometimes it leads in different ways. But it really helps people and their spirituality, and helps them to focus and to bring that peace into their lives, and what's important to all of us for our moving on, to have our meaning in our lives. So does anyone have any questions on any of that? Yes. Correct. No, and everything is absolutely voluntary. The groups and everything, and they're done. But these tarot cards are very different. When they come around, you will see them. They are not your traditional tarot cards at all. They're Zen tarot cards. So they're based on wisdom, courage, and things of those sorts. They're extremely different than what you see on the street with the tarot reader. Yes. Absolutely. And the word tarot in itself, when you say a tarot card, people have some folks in religions have a very negative and connotation towards that. So absolutely, yes. And anything you do in spirituality, we're very sensitive. Yes. They want the oils. Yes. an ancient pattern, and you can actually make one. We actually have one facility that's getting ready to do one on a piece of ground that they have, but they take quite a bit of room to design a walking labyrinth. But they have now come up with little palm labyrinths, and I've seen them, but I haven't found one, where you can actually trace it. So what you do in a labyrinth is you set your intention for that. Exactly, if you're walking a labyrinth, you set your intention at the beginning, and then as you walk the labyrinth, in the process through it to get to the center, you follow and think about your intention. So the theory is that it helps you in the process to realize it's a process to get to where you want to go. And the cairns, there are just, you take stones, you can take as, usually you do an odd number, but there's no rule, and they're just, you stack them up, and I can go ahead, I'll read you it. It says it's from the Irish and Welsh tradition, and it is an artificial pile of stones, often in a conical form. The most basic cairns are often a single stack of rocks intended to mark a path, a territory, or a specific site. The intent is unity and meaning rather than art. Those who place them are thinking of those who will come after. Those who find and allow them are trusting travelers who went before. Experiencing hikers call them trail ducks. Then, when the top rock is larger and points the way to a new turn. So if the top rock is larger, yes. In Hawaii, such a cairn is referred to as, I'm not going to tackle that one, but simple cairns and similar assemblages have recently been adopted by the deep ecological movement. Stacked or balanced, these offer places and moments for spiritual reflection. Setting them around your sacred spaces attracts vortexes of positive energy and dispels disruption. And then it goes on to say, a perfect way to mark a spiritual path within your own environment or place of employment. Okay? Yes?
I've gotten so much out of this session, this workshop today. I've been really blessed too because I started, well, I thought it was where I could, but now as each day unfolds, it's just amazing. I have a women's group, and they're regulars. And what I don't even know where I came up with this. I know it has to be my higher self, something more greater than I. And I do believe in God. And I'm amazed now that I look, and just in the past few months, I initiated this group with rocks, placing faith rock, hope rock. Now the women of this group are bringing rocks, and we have candles, and now women are bringing more candles. And I premise this group on somewhat of a Unitarian belief system. I respect your religion. I am very empowered and secure in my own faith. So in love, we do everything in love, and it's an unconditional love and respect. And everything that you've said here today, I sincerely, wholeheartedly thank you. It's really blessed me today. I received it all. And what I like to just recommend, open-mindedly, that's why I said what I did. When I'm open, I'm able to receive new information. If it doesn't work, I don't use it. But when it works, then I apply it. And you never know where it might lead you. And so I just thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you all. That's wonderful. We're going to do a guided meditation.
Well, before you do that,
Okay.
the second group of handouts, I'm wondering if I know a bunch of people in the center did. Are there any extras anywhere?
Floating around.
Yes.
It's on the internet,
I don't know why we had more than enough.
and I passed some things on this one. Oh. The second set of handouts, they.
Okay,
Thank you.
that's what I was hoping. Thank
Okay.
you. Yes, the center of the group.
Perfect. We'll get those over to you. No, it's one page. Yes.
We don't have it down here.
Okay. It looks like this whole center section, Patty didn't get it. Okay. So, yes. Oh, just hand for that. Okay. Did anyone have any questions before I go on? Okay. what we're going to do now is, and then we're going to finish with more questions and discussion at the end, but we were going to do a guided meditation. So if anybody does not care to do it, we understand perfectly. Please feel free to leave right now. We won't get all offended in any way. If you choose to stay, and if at any time during the guided meditation you're feeling uncomfortable, please just open your eyes and read something that's in your lap or bring your attention back to something in the room. The guided meditation that we're going to do today is going to kind of take you and help you to find the essence of who you are. So that fits right into this gentleman's up here, what he said his spirituality meant to him. So we'll give a couple of minutes for anybody who wants to step out, and then we will begin the guided meditation. So you'll probably want to set everything down and have your lap free on the chair next to you. I'm going to just bring this up here. Okay. Okay. Oh, that changed it, didn't it? All right. So if you'll place your feet on the floor, usually right next to each other. If you want to take off your shoes and have a little connection with the earth, please feel free to do that. Your hands can be any place that you feel comfortable. They can be resting on your lap. Traditionally, if you rest your hands inside of one another, the left hand supports the right hand. That is your lunar side, your female side. It usually supports the right in most of the mudra positions. The other one that we talked about is the Yana mudra, where you touch the tip of your thumb to the tip of your index finger. If you'd like to try that, and then you can set your hands on your lap that way. If your hands are up, this is in a receiving position. If your hands are turned down, that is in a sending out position. At evenings, if you'd ever do a meditation at night, it's best to put your hands this way. This tends to be more energizing. This tends to be more relaxing. Okay? So if everyone gets comfortable, because we'll be sitting for a little while, and as you sit there, if you would like to sit up straight, count your energy flow, make sure that you're comfortable. And then we're going to close our eyes, and we're going to take a moment just to observe, to feel your feet on the ground, touching the earth. You're going to feel your legs and where they are touching the chair, where they are not. Feel your back. Feel where your body is resting, where it is touching, and where it is not. Feel where you are comfortable and where you may be experiencing any discomfort. Take a moment to adjust yourself so that you are completely comfortable. Now bring your attention to your breath, not changing your breath in any way, just observing your breath. Is your breath short? Are your breaths long? Is your inhale longer, or is your exhale longer? Again, no judgment, just observing. Is your breath warm, or is it cool? As you breathe in and you breathe out, where does your breath touch? How far does it extend? Are there places where your breath does not reach, that feel blocked? Are there places where the breath flows freely and feels warm and comfortable? Focusing on your breath, thoughts may come into your mind. Don't fight the thoughts. Be an observer of those thoughts. Watch the thought as if it was a sailboat. Watch the thought, the sailboat, float across the ocean of your mind, off into the horizon, and let it go. Bringing your attention, your focus, back to your breath, and back to my voice. Going back to your breath, feeling where it's touching, feeling your inhale and your exhale. Roll your eyes down, if you're up with your eyes closed, down to your heart center. Bring your attention and your focus into your heart center. Now taking your focus and your intention down, just below your belly button, into your solar plexus. Within each of you, with each of us, there's a sacred place. It may be in your heart center, it may be in your solar plexus, it may be someplace completely different. But relax and find your sacred place. As you enter your sacred place, feel the peace and the comfort and the quietness that's within you. Now imagine inside your sacred place, inside of you, there is a shelf. You can see the shelf. You can touch the shelf. We are going to put things, items on the shelf, which at the end of the meditation, we can get back off of the shelf, what we choose and take with us. Now, feeling that peace, feeling the calmness in your sacred place, think of everything that is on your driver's license, your hair color, your eye color, your height, your weight, your place of residence, your address, where you live. Take all of those, knowing that you can get them back at the end of the meditation. Take them all and place them on the shelf. Take your job, what you do every day, and place that on the shelf. Take your family, your mother, your father, brothers, sisters, children, knowing that they'll be safe and that you can get them all back at the end of the meditation and place them on the shelf. All your relatives, cousins, everyone on the shelf. Think of all your friends, the friends that you have now, the friends you've ever had, and place them safely on the shelf. Think of your teachers, your coworkers, your bosses, anyone that you have ever known, ever met, ever seen, and place them on the shelf. Think of your feelings, everything that you like, everything that you like about yourself, and place those on the shelf. Think of everything that you don't like about yourself, things that served you once but no longer serve you, and place those on the shelf. Think of your hobbies, everything you like to do, things that bring you joy, and and place those on the shelf. Think of the things that you do not like to do. Then place those all on the shelf. Now going back and looking inside, is there anything left? Anything at all? Anything that comes to your mind? And take that and place it on the shelf. Going back again, taking another look, placing everything on the shelf. Now what you feel is the essence of who you are. The peace, the calmness, the bliss. This is who you are. The things on the shelf are what you carry with you. They are not you. They are not who you are. And now that you've gone here, now you know who you really are. You can come back to this at any time, any moment. Now go to your shelf and take back what you want. Take off the shelf what you want to carry with you. And feel free to leave anything on the shelf that you no longer want, you no longer need, that no longer serves you. As you take everything back, embrace it, appreciate it. Now beginning to bring your attention back to your breath. Feeling your breath again, observing, again not changing your breath in any way. How is your inhale? Is it shorter or longer than your exhale? Is it different before the meditation? Where does your breath touch? Does it touch further in more places? Any place where the breath would not go? Does it now flow? Again, being the observer. Now bring your focus back to my voice, back into the room, back to the noises, back to your body, sitting in your chairs, feeling yourself here in your physical body, and feel free to open your eyes at any time you'd like. We have a few moments, so if anyone has any questions or if anyone has any comments. We'll do it again in another about hour and a half. Yes. Yes. The most effective source of healing and these alternatives, it really, really is absolutely individual for each person. Everyone finds something different. Everyone sees it in a different way. Something different touches every person. Completely different. There was Lorraine, she had to come touch the stones today as soon as she got here, and the crystals. Those spoke to her. Somebody else, it's a candle. It's the element of fire that really speaks to them. That's why we try to throw out everything we can think of, we can touch, we can get our hands on, because you never know what's going to start anyone along their spiritual path. For me, it was yoga. That's what started. I had a spiritual faith community, but I just had that hole, as Patty talks about, was still there for me. When I found the yoga, it led me to Reiki, and it just kind of continues the journey. And I don't think our spiritual journey is ever done. I think we're always embarking on that. Any other questions? Yes.
The aromatherapy speaks to me as well as massage therapy, and when you combine it with
Oh.
I found lavender very helpful. Are there other essential oils that you might recommend or resource that I can look at to evaluate?
Absolutely. You can go online too, and you can find, that's the easiest way. There's a book, the little chart that's coming around will help you too. But basically you can find where they kind of tell you what you're looking for. If you're experiencing fear, they kind of have one for that. They made recommendations. Sometimes it's a combination of them. Yes, I'm supposed to read this before you leave. It says there is a gray BMW license plate number QEDULCE that is parked illegally in Lot C. So you might want to move that before they get grumpy. Does anyone have any other questions?
That research was on your site?
Pardon me. The aromatherapy, the description of aromatherapy is on the site. The actual uses of aromatherapy are not yet, but you know what? We have an expert on aromatherapy. I'll have him put something together and I'll put it on there. Thank you. Yes? The Yanni Mudra, it's when you touch the pointer finger and the thumb together. The representation is the earth touching yourself, so bringing yourself, grounding yourself to the earth. There's one other thing I didn't share, and I love to share on mudras. You have to really be in tune to your breath. But if you're really in tune with your breath and really focus on your breath, as you take your fingers and touch your pinky finger and your thumb together and just hold them and breathe, and really focus on where the breath is. Where do you feel the breath? And then move it to your ring finger, really focusing, and the breath will move. And then you can focus it on your middle finger, and you'll feel it move again. And focus it on your pointer finger, and it'll move. The breath will either start at the bottom, down at your base chakra, and work up, or it'll start at the base chakra and work down. And it's really amazing. Yes?
Where do you have a center, or, like where can I get in touch with, do you have a program going on, or, like setting the chakras, the crystals, what kind of,
Yeah.
like, what's that bookstore?
There's,
Retreat bookstore, I know they have one.
yeah, and that's sort of where I've taken most of my classes too. Not there. I'm actually from Northern California, and we have a couple up there too. And I'm not really familiar in Southern. If you wanted meditation, no, they have not. No, and Mount Shasta up in Northern California is amazing and has amazing resources. There's a meditation center in Marin, Spirit Rock, that does a lot of meditation and those kind of things. So, what you're interested in, you can certainly go on and research. If you want, I'll give you my email afterwards, and anything you're particularly interested in, where I know there might be a class that I really enjoyed, I'll let you know. I'd be glad to do that. Yes. The website for Crestwood it's Crestwood Behavioral Health Inc. But the company is Crestwood Behavioral Health Inc. But the shortcut to getting to the website is cbhi.net, so you don't have to type out the whole Crestwood Behavioral Health Inc. Okay, welcome. Is there anything else?
Great job.
Oh, thank you. Thank you all for being here and sharing today very, very much.